Hey guys, welcome to this very special video that I have for you today. I'm your astrologer, Alexandra Irving from Chasing the Bagua, and we're talking about this total lunar eclipse. It's a full moon in Scorpio, 25 degrees, 17 seconds of Scorpio. We're getting that moon oppose the sun, and of course the nodes are involved. This is a south node eclipse that we are having. This is exact here on the East Coast at 12:14:08 p.m. Monday morning, so the 16th. And that again is East Coast time. On the West Coast, this is late Sunday night at 9, well, not that late, 9:14 p.m. And then out in Australia, this is going to be on Monday as well at 2:14:08 p.m. So yeah, this is a huge time. It's a time to really have a point of attention and be have a lot of strategy, but not just to like push ourselves into something or exert all our energy, because this is a full moon, right? So we're coming into this culmination. We're going to have a light shined on a very powerful point in our lives. And this can bring on crisis. This can bring on a lot of psychology, and it may not feel so good for us emotionally, because the moon is in detriment here in Scorpio, or it's an enemy sign. So, and also the Saturn is in square to this energy. So Saturn represents restrictions. It can have us having to do things over and over, that diligent work. It is also, like elderly people, right? So there is this type of maturity with this energy, with this full moon. And a full moon brings endings. It brings a culmination of sorts. So I think for some people, this can actually be a very big time in our lives for bringing something that we've been working on into full light, right? Because Saturn is involved. So like some people, been working on projects for many years, or I mean, not even many years, but been putting a lot of energy. It doesn't necessarily have to be that time frame, but some things that we've been serious about, we may start seeing coming some more alignment, some more capacity to create with this energy, or some more manifesting energy, especially as we do have that sun in Taurus, and it is conjunct Argyle. So we'll talk about that a little bit more, but just to finish out these planetary alignments, we are also getting Mars. We should probably talk about, because Mars rules where the moon is, right? And Mars is a signifier of war, is one thing. It, for us on a personal level, it is like our want, our need, our hunger to go after something. And Mars is conjuncting Neptune as this full moon takes place, as this eclipse takes place. So, and it's in a great aspect to this full moon. So there's a opportunity that we can take, a release. This shows another factor of handing things over to the divine flow of the universe, to God, and not to the confusion, right? Because that goes back to Argyle, the demon star, as it's called, the one demon star, which is also related to alcohol. So me looking at this chart, I can really see probably, that there are probably going to be more overdoses, more confusions. The sun just did conjunct the North Node, and in this full moon, it is really within a 3-degree orb to the South Node and the North Node. So there is this extra draw of how we are going to evolve ourselves, right? And with the North Node conjunct the Sun, we may, I've been talking about in the daily podcast, we may have this insatiable need, this insatiable want to go after things, but that insatiability, that want to go after something 100%, it may also give us the waves of Neptune, the waves of the ocean that are going to take us under emotionally, that are going to create confusion. And I think this is a really important time for us personally to create space away from confusion, to create clarity within our lives. The full moon, the moon being in the nakshatra of Visakha nakshatra, Visakha nakshatra. That Russian H gets me because it's pronounced like an N. But anyway, Visakha nakshatra is all about single pointedness, right? It's the conqueror, the one that does this with the spiritual fire of Agni, right? So there is a lot about going after spiritual pursuits, or also being that spiritual warrior. Mars conjunct Neptune, this is that of a spiritual warrior. And yes, a lot of us may be coming through temptation. The Sun conjunct Argol, there could be temptation for us to go into I want to say lower vibrations, but things that actually are pulling us away from that evolution to keep us integrated in the same thing that we've been. And this is a time to go forward. This is a new journey. Remember, Jupiter just ingressed into Aries. Aries is the youngest sign of the zodiac. And so this is like a fool's journey. But what knowledge are we taking to the table? And are we going to go further into things that are causing that confusion? This is, again, a time to have that single pointed vision, like in yoga, to unite ourselves with this vision. And yes, we can unite ourselves with, things that are less than us, but that is going to keep us in this cycle that is not of growth. So we may see this around us, again, with confusion, with alcohol, with drugs, Mars Neptune. This can be, people really going off the deep end, that struggling. And yes, it makes sense when there's so much, the inflation, the financial things that are happening, which these eclipses are evoking, right? I've been talking about, the financial structure is really changing this year, and Venus rules where the Sun is. Venus is in Aries, right? Ruled by Mars. So there is this agitation for us to make a leeway in our lives, to make more progress, right? But it is a full moon. It's a time to allow what we've been working on to manifest, to show. It's also, I think, like showing the hands that are being played within our relationships, within, the things that we are working towards and the things that we are wanting to connect to. Visakha nakshatra is, again, all about that union, that dedication, that single pointed vision, that ability to achieve these goals. So this is a very big time, again, for seeing the things that we've been working on coming into manifestation. And when we look again at the Saros cycle, which the Saros cycle is when we get eclipses, it actually creates across the globe through the Saros cycle, a geometric pattern. And this is the family of eclipses, right? The Saros cycle, or the family of eclipses. And so they come about every 18 years, a little over 18 years. You're going to get the same family of eclipses. So this goes back to 2004, when we had that eclipse, May 4th, 2004. And this was at 14 degrees of Scorpio. It's a South Node eclipse. And so if we look back at that time, 2004, what were we integrating in our lives? What were the challenges? What were the things, the big realizations that we were finding within ourselves, and like stoking that spiritual flame as well? It was a different time back then, of course. We had a lot of different energies, and one that I would like to point out is Neptune. Neptune was in Aquarius, right? Really creating a lot of change through social media. This is, when Skype was put out, Facebook overtook MySpace, and, iPod, Bluetooth, all this stuff was going on for us to connect, network more. So now that Neptune is here in Pisces with Mars conjunct, there is this allowance, this need to be, again, that spiritual warrior. For the world itself, I think this is going to create more war. This is going to make more tension, I would say, with overseas things, right? And yes, with Mars and Neptune there can be a lot of fog surrounding war. There can be a lot of magic or illusion that is surrounding this, smoke and mirrors that can be coming up. And again, this energy is in a helpful aspect to the moon. So it's making a trine, so it can be exacerbating the tension, the escalation, the insecurity that the wars are making. So there is a lot of talk about food insecurities since the last year. If you've been listening to the podcast, I have been talking about the financial changes, and then also now that we have Jupiter ingressed in Aries, there is going to be more inflation, especially when it has to do with produce, which is one of the things that Jupiter rules. So that's just a little bit of, kind of world stuff. If you go back to, my May monthly video, which is here on the YouTube channel, I do talk about this type of inflation that is happening, and already this week you can see the gas prices are starting to shift up again, and this is just what we're working with. But again, Mars conjunct Neptune, do we believe? Do we take action into prayer? Do we take action into elevating our energy? This Mars-Neptune conjunction is a helpful aspect to the sun. So what do we feel of ourselves? Do we feel worthiness within ourselves? Are we feeling whole and integrated within ourselves to be able to open up the space where we can actually have prayer, where we can have that single pointed mentality to create these changes from within? This is huge, especially when we go back to talking about the nakshatra, Visakha nakshatra, which is that union ruled by Jupiter, also this nakshatra. So embodying that knowledge, being present, right? And just to close this out, this is going to be a time here in the North America, especially on the East Coast, that you will be able to see this eclipse. You'll also be able to see it in Central and Southern America as well. So some astrologers don't even look out to the eclipses, so do take mind, do take some time out also for your own psyche, right? whether you go out and watch this full moon or not, it is a time to evaluate what is going on emotionally, what we're needing to let go of. Again, I think release is a huge thing right now. You know, the South Node, K2 as it's known in Vedic astrology, is all about release. It's the tail of the dragon. So it has to do with, you know, excreting, right? Letting go. The full moon is already letting go. There we go. Mars, conjunct Neptune, letting go, right? So there's a lot of theme about allowance to release, to perfect our understanding of our own constructs, or rather our conditioning, right? Looking at our conditioning, whether it's in relationships are going to be a big thing, and some strange secrets may come out this weekend. So, you know, be sure, be present, and allow the release, allow a compassion, have action into compassion, whether it's for yourself, for your sacred union, for what it is that you're promoting in your life, the self worth, the well-being, the healing of our understanding of self and how we navigate this world. This is a super deep time, and you know, I again, like, it may not feel good. There may be some things that kind of rock the boat, that rock our security, but be mindful, pray, and it's also, I would say, important to be around those that are invoking that same type of understanding, or the same way that they are perceiving the changes that are going on in the world. Like, Aries season was a lot about realizing our alliances, realizing how we communicate and take on information, and that was also how we deal with people, right? So now that we have this awareness of how we deal with people, how we need to be with certain people, or how, you know, like not who is good and bad, but who you can really rely on. Like I've been talking about this, you know, especially through that Aries cycle, that Aries new moon cycle, where it was conjunct Mercury. Now we have Mercury in a very powerful retrograde phase, right? And it is in its own home as we have this full moon. So there is this really deep part about being specific of how we're engaging and dealing with our environment, people, places, things. Like, this is a powerful time. And I think there can be a lot gained, but is also not being fixated on physical things, on attaining physical things. It's more attainment of spiritual things. And that is another thing this nakshatra actually represents, is fixation, obsession, all these things. So how are we going to use this energy that is like a concentrated stream? Are we going to use it on you know, delusions, or the things, thoughts of grandeur? You know, that can be happening. We can see that around ourselves, around, you know, the world. It is also, there is a lot of malefic energy, you know, with that Mars conjunct Neptune in trine to the moon, that can create more aggravation if we're not careful. But that's, again, when I say, you know, to find that release, to allow the compassion, and allow, you know, things to go, heated conversations, allow them to go. Also, malefic energy is that Saturn is square the full moon as well, and Saturn's a malefic, but we can work with this energy. It's just how we are applying ourselves with our mental, and then also, are we adhering to what is worthy of us, and what we are growing, and how we see our life and our soul evolving. powerful time. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's, again, a powerful time for us all. Allow the release, the changes. This is eclipse season, where this is going to be the last eclipse until, autumn. And and this is all with Uranus involved. So it's huge shakeups. This energy is going to have lasting effects for about 6 months as well. I'm going to be going more into this, of course, on the daily podcast. So do subscribe to Jason Bagwa's daily podcast. Of course, I also do have the live All Signs weekly horoscope that this Monday I will be speaking on all the signs. So if you want to know more about, how this full moon, this total lunar eclipse is going to be affecting you, do join me on Jason Bagwa's Instagram live Monday night Eastern Standard Time at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you all. Of course, you can support my work, Jason Bagwa. It's very easy to donate if you go to the website. You can also schedule a reading with me. There again is jasonbagwa.com. Love you all. Powerful time. Do not sleep on your needs. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.